Lil Durk. Some of y'all may be familiar, maybe some of y'all not so much. So, Lil Durk is a rapper out of Chicago. Ironic, right? Rapper out of Chicago. Um, his guy King Vaughn, obviously is deceased. A lot of drill rappers is dead in Chicago. But recently he was arrested on murder for hire charges. Check it out.
Hey Val, good morning. Lil Durk is charged in a murder for hire scheme. We're working right now to get more details on this investigation, but we know the 32-year-old was arrested Thursday by U.S. Marshals in Florida and is being held in custody. Earlier this month, Banks was sued for his alleged involvement in the deadly shooting of another rapper in Chicago, FBG Duck. That happened 4 years ago. Weekly's family says Banks had a hand in that gang-related shooting in 2020 in the city's Gold Coast neighborhood. Lil Durk and his team didn't comment on that lawsuit, but of course we'll be sure to provide you with an update when we learn more about the charges Banks is now facing.
We will be discussing this on After Hours tonight, obviously. It is a subject that I think needs to be discussed, not only when it comes to rappers or whether or not FBD Juck or whatever their names are and all of this stuff. I don't care about that part. The part that I care about is the culture. And I've been saying that the culture is trash. The very ones that get the key to the city, Diddy had got the key to the city, arrested. Lil Durk get the key to the city, arrested. The very ones that we celebrate the most and y'all can't wait to, right after y'all listen to their lyrics, is the very ones that got murder for hire plots. And you know what I hear from people as soon as I start to see this? Well, what about this person? Well, what about this person? Well, what about the pharmaceutical companies? No, what about the people that you are directly influenced by? Because he just did a concert in Chicago and 3 people were shot walking to it. Teenagers, 15-year-old. And it's sad. It's sad. Because again, I say it, money does not make you a better person. Money makes you more of what you already are. Let me say it again for the people in the back. Money does not make you a better person. Money makes you more of what you already are. And so now that you have money, the low level BS that you was a part of, as the people in the chat say, shout out to my chat because they are the co-hosts of the show. The low level BS that you was already a part of, guess what? Now you just have more money and resources to do more low level BS and to pay for people to get hit instead of you doing it yourself. And so if you're asking me, him facing life in prison is not necessarily a bad thing. When you are paying to have people killed, I am not at all feeling sorry for you. Even if the person that you're paying to have killed is just as destructive as you are. I don't feel sorry for it. And I know a lot of people gonna be having the free Lil Durk shirts on. We tired of this. We tired, boss. We tired of this low level cultural BS that's not conducive for America, for the community, or for the people that follow them. So, good riddance. I do believe, let me preface this by saying that I do believe innocent until proven guilty. So, it is up to the federal prosecutors to ultimately prove that he really did do it, because I don't believe that anybody should be convicted in a court of public opinion alone. They have to prove that he did do it, because if you're accusing him of doing something that he didn't do, then that's one thing. All right. So I will be watching this closely. One thing is for sure, we'll never have a shortage of rappers. The lead attorney will never ever have a shortage of work of streaming to right up his alley, paying attention to what's going on in the culture and all of the things that's wrong with it, streaming these dudes, going through trials, and trying to figure out whether or not they should get a mistrial or not. So shout out to the lead attorney and shout out to Lil Durk for giving us more content to pay attention to. In addition to that, Tiffany Henyard, our resident Dolton mayor, making close to $300,000 a year, or well over $234,000 a year. They're still trying to chase her in order to serve her these eviction papers. Check it out.
Happening tonight in the south suburbs, the woman who owns a Dolton home that she leased to Mayor Tiffany Henyard has filed eviction papers. She says Henyard has not paid her rent, and now she wants her out. NBC5's Regina Waldrop with the story.
We talked to Tiffany Henyard's landlord, and she says she came to this Thornton Township meeting Tuesday night hoping to get paid what she says she's owed.
We do not have a quorum, so we will not be having a board meeting this evening.
With Thornton Township's board meeting canceled, Janetta Hull will have to find another way to serve an eviction notice to Supervisor Tiffany Henyard, also Dolton's mayor.
So now I have to pay a special process server in order to get them served, which is more fees for me.
Hull says she leased this home to Henyard and her boyfriend in 2021. She says the last payment came in August. She filed eviction papers last month. She says she's now owed $5,000 in back rent plus late fees. She says the couple was a no-show for a Zoom hearing Tuesday morning.
The sheriff's been out here a few times to serve them. For a household that makes, over $350,000 a year, I'm asking for pennies.
Hull says she hasn't been able to gain access to the home or garage to do maintenance.
I gave them 48 hours notice. And then I also text them about 15 minutes before I got here. So there's a code on the garage, and then there's locks on the front door that were changed.
In a statement, an attorney for Tiffany Henyard told NBC5 no comment at this time.
Jesus.
Hull says she regrets renting to the couple.
I don't think the money is worth it. The cash up front is not worth it. I would have rather rented to someone who, is an honest.
Let me show you how disingenuous, even though we all love our resident chat villain, you have now been given the name chat villain, Eric D. Let me show you how ignorant Eric D sometimes is, as intelligent as he is sometimes, how ignorant he can be. Eric D, because the chat is my co-host, so I'm going to call y'all out when y'all say crazy stuff. Eric D says, no excuse for this landlord not to have served her by now. So we're villainizing the victim instead of holding accountable the person that didn't pay the rent. So the public official that don't pay the rent, don't show up to Zoom calls, she's hired sheriffs, process servers, all of this. And Eric D says he didn't say there's no excuse for her not to pay the rent. Let me show you how disingenuous Eric D is and how he says stuff, because I can't believe that Eric D has been around this long and he's still saying crazy stuff like this. And and this is why y'all shouldn't pay attention to him half the time, because he says stuff just to get y'all riled up, and I'm gonna point it out for y'all. He says it's no excuse for her as the landlord not to have served her. So the landlord, the sheriffs, and all of them have showed up at City Hall. They showed up at the township community meetings. And he's villainizing the person who owns the home, who could possibly get their home foreclosed on, instead of the person that's not paying the rent. Ladies, Eric D is available for y'all. Swipe left, swipe right. We're going to put Eric D on the Balloon Pop show. Y'all, let me ask y'all a question. Is Eric D the kid in class that raises his hand to say something crazy just so he can get a laugh, or just so everybody can go off on him so that he feels better about some of the stuff that he says? Because if he don't get the attention that he wants, then he's going to be flailing in the back. What is wrong with this man? Anyways, to comment on the story, it is unfortunate that two things. Number one, that the victims, including this woman right here, who honestly rented her home out, is being victimized. Number two, that we have laws that allow people to squat in your home. Down there in Arkansas and all of that, they don't deal with that junk. They don't play that game. That we have laws that allow for people to basically not pay rent and squat in your home, but yet you still have to be financially responsible. And this is why some of the times, even when we talk about Block Club and a Patreon, make sure y'all join the Patreon. Next week, we got Stock Club coming up, so I'm going to announce that shortly. Look, whatever, Anton, carry on. Don't get mad at me. You know the chat is the co-host of this show, so when you say crazy stuff, I'm going to address it. But anyways, it's unfortunate. But the third thing is, this is why people don't want to rent to low-level people. Y'all always, I'm gonna say the quiet part out loud. People get mad because they say that other people are elitist or they racist and all of this stuff. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you, and it's not intentional. I shouldn't say this. I shouldn't say this. I'm gonna be honest with you, and it's not intentional. Maybe it's just because I don't get people that apply for my houses. I don't have any black renters. The ones that I considered, they couldn't even pass they couldn't pass the income to debt ratio. That's why we pulled up their credit report. And I've had a lot of people that I look through in order to figure out whether or not I want to rent to them. Income to debt ratio, out of this world. All of their credit cards was maxed out, and they had a bunch of loans. Some of them was from Dodge. They had some Chargers, probably some Hellcats. That's number one. And number two, they credit always says something with regard to the court when it comes to an eviction. Every single time. And then they say, let me tell you what they say to me. They say, well, I can apply in my son's name, or I can apply in it. No, no, no. I would love to rent to whoever can afford it and whoever is going to pay the rent. Guess what? The only thing that I care about when it comes to renting out my properties is green. The only thing that I care about when it comes to, no, listen, it's not always blacks. Cool. That's nice. I could tell you don't own nothing, and I could tell you ain't never rented it out to nobody. The only thing that I care about when it comes to renting out my properties is green. If you can afford it and if you qualify for it, you get it. But when you don't meet the qualifications, it is not up to me to lower my standards to validate your inability to be able to find adequate housing for your family and do what you're supposed to do. I don't care about color. I don't care about any of that type of stuff. And the one person, I'll tell you, the one person that looked good on paper, like they could qualify. The one person, you know what? Because I always meet with my renters before I rent it out to them. Smelled like trees. Reeked. They whole body reeked of marijuana and trees. Nope. Nope. The answer is no. And I've never, not one time in my life, had a renter miss a payment. And I've never had one renter in my life ever move out from my properties. Because I'm going to treat them like gold. They take care of business. I take care of business. Nope. They said, so you saying 0 black people qualified? That's exactly what I'm saying. 0 people that I've looked through as far as people that were proposing to rent out my properties, 0 of them qualified as far as meeting my standards for what I wanted as a tenant inside of my properties. That's exactly what I said. I don't have to mince my words. I ain't worried about no sponsors. I ain't worried about nobody. I'm going to tell you exactly the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't care about what you think. When we pulled the applications, when we start to figure out the people, and when I actually met one of the people that actually passed the test, reeked of trees. Nope. What's wrong with trees? Nothing. If you can find somebody to rent with you, I don't have to accept you. One of my qualifications is I don't allow for smoking inside of my cribs. Flat out. No smoking. And if you don't like it, then go and get somebody else. Because it affects, see, here's the thing. It not only affects you or my properties, because if you've ever been through a property where people smoked, it's horrible. It's one of the most horrible. It absolutely destroys all of that. That's not housing discrimination. You didn't meet the. That's not housing discrimination. You didn't meet the qualifications. I didn't get government subsidies to build my properties, which means that I don't have no requirement, no low income housing or any of that type of stuff, and all of that. It also affects the neighbors. It also affects my property value. It also affects the people that surround you. If I find somebody that's qualified and they meet the requirements, cool, you can get it. But when you don't qualify, I am not making a concession in order to get you in there to make you feel better. I don't care. Only thing I care about when it comes to my properties is green. And if you want to call it housing discrimination, I don't care what you call it. You can't get in either way. Either way. Good riddance. Anyways, let's continue on with the show. And then last but not least, don't let me get to going on a rant. Last but not least, two separate crimes, hours apart, would-be car thieves, is shot by the victims inside of Chicago. Check it out.
Now at 4, 2 shootings, the apparent innocent fighting back against criminals.
They ended up shooting people trying to either break into their car or steal it altogether. And that fighting back is starting to become a trend. Andrew Ramos is live in Austin. That's the scene of one of those shootings. And Andrew, one of the victims in this case is a retired police officer.
That's right, and we did get a chance to speak to that retired cop who did not want to go on camera, but told us that it was his neighbor who initially alerted him that somebody was trying to break into his car, which led him to come out of his house and confront the man that we would probably agree targeted the wrong car. Police say it all unfolded at about 2:15 this morning in the 300 block of North Mayfield Avenue. That's when the 53-year-old offender was seen trying to break into a vehicle. That vehicle belonged to a 73-year-old retired Chicago police officer. That retired cop approached the man and warned him to leave, but he tells CBS News Chicago that the suspect lunged at him and attempted to take his gun. That's when the retired officer opened fire, shooting the man in the shoulder. 3 hours later, in a separate, unrelated incident on the south side, police say a 47-year-old man was sitting inside his vehicle in the 1600 block of West 82nd Street when he was approached by 4 men who attempted to carjack him. When they sprayed some sort of chemical...
That's cool. I don't want diabetes anyway. I don't want my sugar high. I'm cool. Y'all saying my cookout invitation? I don't want no collard greens that's been cooked inside of the tub. Anybody that cook collard greens inside of a bathtub, I'm good on your invitation anyway. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool. I'm cool. These new cookouts ain't the same as the old ones anyway, because everybody was smoking. They was smoking weed when they was making the macaroni and cheese anyway. They got greens out of the can. They candy yams ain't right. They ain't even candied. I'm good. I'm good. We going vegetarian anyway in 2025. I don't even want to come to the cookout. They ain't got nothing for me. They ain't got nothing for me. I'm good. Cookouts was bad for our health anyway. That's why grandma got one leg bigger than the other one when she walking down. Every time I go to the grocery store and I see the one that go and get all of the worst things for them, one of their legs look like a goalpost, and the other leg is skinny, looking like she skipped leg day on one leg. I don't want to go anyway. I ain't interested in going to no more cookouts. They got shootouts. They ain't even called cookouts no more. They call shootouts.
On the victim, the man who is a valid FOID and concealed carry license holder, shot at the group. A 16-year-old boy was shot in the left leg and suffered a grazed wound to the left arm. The other offenders took off in the victim's Toyota Camry. While both shootings remain under investigation, under Illinois state law, the victim's use of force in these cases...
These new grandmas is only 36 years old anyway. They don't even know how to cook. All the pies that they buy is Patty LaBelle. Patty LaBelle Walmart pies. Get out of here with that nonsense.
For now, appear to be justified.
If you are in fear of your life, if you're in a situation where somebody is committing a felony against you and you suspect that you could really be hurt, if you have a concealed carry license, you have the right to shoot that person, even if you kill the person, because the law...
Soon as you walk, soon as you get to the cookout, sugar on 390. Got to go to the bathroom 13 times in 1 hour. Nah, I'm good. I'm straight. I don't even drink Kool-Aid no more.